What's up, NZers?
Hi!
And welcome back to another family reaction video. Today we are going to be checking out another, what's the guy's channel again?
Pond.
Lost
in the Pond.
Lost in the Pond.
We like this guy.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of videos we need to check out of his, because he's a British guy who shifted to America.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of inside knowledge from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, which we can relate to.
Yeah, so we are going to check out, today's video is 5 deadly natural phenomena America has that Britain doesn't.
Okay.
Wowie.
Interesting to see where New Zealand fits in with that.
That sounds pretty scary.
It does sound scary.
So let's check it out and see what he has to say.
And that's true. In fact, it's true for most countries that aren't called the United States of America, where 90% of all F5 tornadoes ever recorded took place.
Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Tornadoes.
That's a big one.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to deadly natural phenomena. Last week, a tornado ripped through Nashville, and it got me thinking about how America is very extreme when it comes to some of these natural phenomena in a way that Britain isn't. And for anybody who's looking to move to the United States, it's good to keep these things in mind. Just keep in mind they are rare, right? So it's not like a Roland Emmerich movie every day in this country, but it is pretty staggering how Mother Nature can be quite a bit more overbearing in the United States. And if you think this video is just going to be Lawrence moaning about the snow again, you would be incorrect, because over half of the entries on this list are not even weather related. Well, actually one might be with a technicality. And so without further ado, let's take a look at 5 deadly natural phenomena that America has that Britain doesn't.
Quakes.
We have quakes.
And there is a reason that I specified magnitude 7, because Britain has never had one. In fact, the worst it's ever had was a 6.1 magnitude earthquake, and that didn't kill anybody. In Britain, that's sort of par for the course. Deaths as a result of an earthquake are incredibly rare. The only earthquake I remember living through in Britain was one that emanated from the Lincolnshire town of Market Raisin, and as I recall, the extent of the damage that day was a fallen patio set. But magnitude 7 earthquakes or above are not just these sort of fictional events that are reserved for films like the imaginatively titled Earthquake. These have actually happened in American history. In fact, one happened just last year in California. I remember all of these famous people on social media posting pictures and videos of their swimming pools swaying from side to side and the dogs looking confused. And it's not really surprising that this happened in California, because California is sort of the capital of America's most deadly earthquakes. Indeed, the nation's most deadly earthquake occurred in 1906 in San Francisco, when a frankly astonishing 3,000 people perished amid a 7.9 magnitude earthquake. Now, since that deadly earthquake in San Francisco, California has, of course, endured some terrible earthquakes in the century that has passed. It's also waiting, of course, for the so-called big one, which, you know, some people think is inevitable. Either way, once you get past all of these quakes and shakes, I am assured that California truly is the golden state. That is, once you've also got past these.
Oh, true.
We saw it in Australia at the beginning of this year, the bushfires that engulfed that country. We see them, of course, every single year in the United States. Specifically, from a news standpoint, you tend to see them in California. But I've seen at least smoke from wildfires in Utah and Idaho, so it's not just a California issue. That just happens to be where some of the deadlier wildfires occur in the US, but not the deadliest of all time. That very unwanted record goes not to California or Utah or Idaho, but to Wisconsin. That's right, the Peshtigo fire of 1871 killed upward of 1,500 people. And there's a weird reason that you might not have heard of it. It may have burned through 1.2 million acres and been the deadliest wildfire in US history. But due to a stunning coincidence, it was largely buried in the newspapers of the day, where it was overshadowed by another fire that broke out that day, a fire that history will remember as the Great Chicago Fire. And the Great Chicago Fire also overshadowed the Great Michigan Fire. It's like how John F. Kennedy's death overshadowed that of C.S. Lewis and Aldous Huxley. What are the chances? Well, for decades, some theorized that all of the fires were caused by the very same thing, that being debris falling to Earth from a missing comet. But in recent times, scientists have ruined that theory by pointing out that actually, to the touch, comet debris is actually cold and would probably extinguish the fire, so it was aliens. Meanwhile, people very rarely die in wildfires in Britain, if at all, though wildfires do indeed exist there. The same cannot be said of our next entry. Now
We know
I get
about
into the
those.
We've got
phenomena
them.
that I've not seen with my own eyes, unless you include 1997's volcano or 1997's Dante's Peak.
Scarred me
what
forever.
are the chances that two very similar disaster movies would come out in the same year? Let's ask 1998's Armageddon and 1998's Deep Impact. But the truth of the matter is volcano eruptions in the United States are not just works of fiction. You may recall recently that there was a volcano eruption in Hawaii, and don't get me started on Mount St. Helens. Actually do, because that represents the deadliest eruption in US history. In
We've got a piece
1980,
of that
Mount St.
upstairs.
Helens erupted, killing 57 people. And over the course of the next decade, it would see more and more eruptions. And this isn't surprising, because if you look at a map of the west coast of the United States, or just the west coast of the Americas in general, look at all those active volcanoes. That's where they sit.
Yeah.
I blame Pangea for breaking up, because it's enough to put me off moving to the Pacific coast. And if one of those blows, not even Pierce Brosnan can help me. Having looked at a map of all of the active volcanoes in the United States, here are all of the active volcanoes in Britain. That's right, there are precisely no active volcanoes in the entirety of Britain.
Wow.
Okay.
So Britain is thankfully unlikely to match the death toll at Mount St. Helens. Unfortunately, our next entry far surpasses it.
Yeah.
So to use language that you're more likely to hear in this, my adoptive country, Category 5 hurricanes are like totally the worst. Literally true, the deadliest natural disaster in American history was the Great Storm of 1900. Striking Galveston, Texas, it is believed to have killed between 6,000 and 12,000 Americans.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
This was a Category 4 storm. The deadliest Category 5 storm was the Okeechobee Storm of 1928, which killed 2,500 Americans and 1,600 others elsewhere. In recent times, you probably remember Hurricane Katrina, which was also a Category 5 storm, and of course led to thousands of fatalities in New Orleans and some of the surrounding areas and states as well. And if you're watching this from Britain, you might be thinking, what? We don't have hurricanes in Britain, and deadly ones at that. Well, the truth is people have died as a result of hurricanes in Britain, just not Category 5 hurricanes. And that's because in Britain there has never been a Category 5 hurricane on record. And that includes the most famous storm in living memory, that would be the Great Storm of 1987, which nonetheless did kill 18 people and 15 million trees.
Wow.
And all this after the weatherman Michael Fish reported that there wasn't going to be a hurricane, so we weren't prepared. Thankfully it happened at night, so most people were asleep in their soft beds. Same can't be said for the trees, which ironically did provide material for some of the bed frames. No, in Britain hurricanes are sort of rare. We usually get what they refer to as the tail end of the hurricane. And speaking of tails,
Nice segue.
Funny how we call it
unless
hurricane.
You include
Yeah.
1996's
Hurricane.
Twister. I've never seen a tornado with my own eyes, but if I did, I'd absolutely myself. At this point in my life, perhaps it's just luck that I haven't seen one, because to say that we don't have them in Britain would be a complete lie. Tornadoes are actually quite numerous in the British Isles, but there's a big difference between the tornadoes that we get in Britain and the tornadoes that we get in the United States of America. Firstly, the UK has not recorded a tornado-related fatality since 1931, and before the 20th century you'd have to go back to 1558 and then 1091.
Wow.
Historically, around only 12 people have been killed by tornadoes in Britain. And that's because British tornadoes just aren't very powerful. The one that ripped through London in 1091 is believed not only to be the oldest known tornado in British history, but possibly the strongest. They theorised that it might have been a Category 4 tornado, suggesting that anything above that, aka an F5 tornado, has never made landfall in Britain. And that's true. In fact, it's true for most countries that aren't called the United States of America, where 90% of all F5 tornadoes ever recorded took place. Now, 37% of those took place in either Oklahoma, Kansas, or Texas. You would expect that they're in the Great Plains. But surprisingly, the Great Plains did not play host to the deadliest tornado in US history. That would go to the tri-state area of Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri. That 1925 Twister killed 58 times. the UK's all-time total.
Wow.
If you're sitting at home and doing the maths on that, stop right now, because I'm just going to tell you the death toll was 698. It's by far the biggest, but as we are reminded by that tornado that ripped through Nashville last week, itself an incident that beats the UK's all-time record, we are reminded once again of the destructive power of American tornadoes, and my thoughts go to the people recovering from that incident. In the meantime, for anybody that's looking to move to the United States, I hope this video hasn't put you off. For the most part, you won't see any of this, you know, unless you live in California. I'm joking, you'll be fine. I just wanted to make you aware of these things and to remind my American viewers that Mother Nature just seems to have it in for you. As for me, doing this video has reminded me that I can live with the odd blizzard.
Angry weather.
I do miss British weather. That's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be very interested to hear this, if you've experienced firsthand any of these phenomena. In the meantime, don't forget to follow me on...
So, yes, I was in Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
So I experienced something that was actually mentioned in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I would probably say, like, Britain is here, America's all the way up there, and we're, like, probably in the middle.
Yeah, we do have some pretty serious
We live on the edge of
phenomena.
a super volcano.
Yeah.
We could relate
Active.
to a few things that California's got, because we are also on the same ring of fire.
Yes.
We can see the crater from our house.
But I note that he says at the end he misses British weather.
Yeah, it's very mild. I suppose,
always raining.
Yeah,
Why would
exactly.
you miss that?
Well,
give me the Golden State any day.
Hey, come on. You can't have it the best of both worlds. You can have
there's always a
a lot
downside.
of rain and like hardly any storms or death or anything. Or you can have like beautiful weather,
I
but
would be
when it's
depressed
bad, it's bad.
beyond measure.
Yeah. Well,
To be in constant rain.
you run the risk of losing your home. I mean, imagine living in Florida where they always have hurricanes. You know, you run the risk of losing your home every year. You never know.
I mean, I just might not choose to live in Florida. Like, what's a state that gets away with a lot?
Rhode Island.
Can you tell me like where the perfect part of the world is right now?
Rhode Island?
Yeah. New
Sounds
York.
good.
Who knows? I don't know. Let us know down in the comments.
Yeah. What's the state that gets the least
The most sun.
extreme?
The most sun.
Oh, it has to be sunny.
But the least amount of...
Nice and warm,
maybe
dry
Arizona.
heat. Arizona, do they have a beach?
No.
I want the beach.
I don't know, actually. I shouldn't speak too
Seattle?
soon.
I would like the
No,
beach.
Seattle's like...
Seattle rains.
It's like Britain.
Yeah.
It's always raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, I turn into a different person in the rain, eh?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
In winter.
Yeah.
Like, winter version of me is...
You're a rain monster.
It's not the same as the summer version of me, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So have any of you kids seen any of the things mentioned on here? Like happening in real time?
No.
You never experienced you never seen a volcano erupting?
We had a pretty serious storm here this year.
Yeah.
That did take lives.
That was a
and
hurricane. I think it was category 4, wasn't
caused
it? At one point.
flooding. Well, we don't call them hurricanes here. We call them cyclones for whatever reason.
Yeah. Tropical cyclones.
Tropical and like he said as well, we usually get the tail end of a tropical cyclone.
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. It's the same storm.
Yeah.
Hurricane and...
Like it gathers somewhere else and I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I
No,
didn't
same
get
as
to
a hurricane.
experience it. We just still have rain.
It was so close to here, the damage.
Yeah, it was.
We were
An hour where
Hours drive.
hour's drive from here, people lost their lives and homes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty severe.
But we've experienced quite a lot.
Yeah.
We've experienced I've seen a tornado up in Auckland.
yeah.
So
They're
they're tiny. They're small.
They're almost
not-
like water spouts.
But there have been deaths.
There have been deaths.
There have been deaths
There
from
have been
tornadoes.
deaths. Like one.
Yeah,
or
like
two.
one person might
Yeah.
die in a tornado or something.
Yeah.
They might get picked up and thrown and
Yeah.
And then obviously we've both seen an active volcano erupting.
Yep.
We've both been through hurricanes, obviously.
We both live on the edge of an active supervolcano.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
Well,
we're-
when you turn from a 10-minute to a 20-minute video.
yeah, we're just having a chat. Also, we've had earthquakes since we moved
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys have been in earthquakes.
here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No,
Is it-
okay,
no, I've
this isn't
forgotten about
anything
that.
compared, but sometimes I'll be like looking on our street and I'll just see these little tornadoes go down and there's
They're
all this
like-
rubbish.
Oh, they're called dust devils.
They're dust devils.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just goes whipping down. And then
Yeah,
one
yeah.
time it came onto our deck and then it took all the boxes everywhere.
Well, you probably imagine that, but on like 1,000 times scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like just
Where it's like
ripping-
houses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not rubbish.
Not boxes.
Yeah.
It's like
Alleys.
cars and cows and stuff like that have
Yeah.
been like thrown around. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed that one, make sure you smash the like button. And if you want to know any info regarding the channel, go and look down in the description box below. And we love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.